How do you turn a leading mountain wear brand into a leading bike wear brand? That's the question I'm asking at RAB here in Derbyshire today. So, there's Ed. He's letting us in.
Come on in.
And hopefully he's going to let us into some secrets about fabric, design, and how to launch a range. The story starts with Rab Carrington learning how to make sleeping bags on a climbing expedition in Patagonia in the 70s when he's totally skint. He then comes home, continues designing and making gear for his mates, and by 1981, Rab is an official thing. Now, what started in an attic in Sheffield is a massive and hugely respected global brand, but they've still remained very true to the ethos of honest, hard-working pieces you'd rather repair than replace. And this recycled packaging material used for sending back refreshed and repaired kit is a teaser for what we'll be seeing later. And this is Matt, who's seen a massive range growth in his time with the company, of which the new Cinder bike range is the latest part. So Matt, were you saying it's gone from 6 SKUs when you started working here, which was about 20 years ago?
2009 when I started.
And it's now over 700 different products globally.
Yeah. So it's...
that's some serious expansion then.
It's pretty impressive, yeah. I mean, we've basically expanded by about 20% every single year that I've been here.
Wow.
So, and hence why I'm still here, because it's like having a different job every year anyway. So
yeah,
no need to look elsewhere.
And it was just purely UK previously.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
But now fully global.
Yeah, we're about 50-50.
Yeah.
So we've got that's our total sales. So 50% UK.
And you're still pushing into new markets like bike as well.
We are, yeah, which is great. There's plenty of bikers that work for Rab. So
and was that kind of the motivation behind the move? I mean, obviously there's a commercial one. It's not just making stuff for yourself, is it? But
yeah, I mean, we're basically we are the mountain people. So everything we do is focused towards mountain use. So I mean that's why we focus specifically on gravel and adventure biking.
Yeah.
Rather than looking at road cycling or even cross country mountain biking.
Yeah.
So so everything we do is focused towards the mountains. We try not to dilute that, so it's just whatever category fits within that mindset.
Yeah. Because there was a lot of crossover use anyway. I mean, I knew a lot of people who used Rab stuff.
Vaporize and things like that.
Yeah, from like the high velocity running stuff.
Yeah, and some nice lightweight windproofs have always
just made sense. They didn't change a single fabric. Like every fabric we had already worked on bike. Just to refine it, just needed a different cut, a different feature set. Yeah. All the fabrics we're already using for running, mountaineering, skiing, all worked well on the bike. Yeah. Just changed the cut and feature set to make them perfect for on bike. So that's good.
Yeah, it is. So all of our down is Eastern European sourced. It's all RDS certified, which means it's independently traceable back to the farm that it came from, to make sure that there's no nefarious live plucking process happening. It all comes from the food industry.
So what downs are you primarily using?
It varies. So what we predominantly use here is 750 fill power up to almost 1,000
and any particular species? Is it duck, goose?
Yeah,
duck and goose. So foul down.
Foul, yeah, indeed, yeah.
It's all hydrophobic treated.
Yeah, it's all hydrophobically treated, so it does resist water. So if you're out on the mountain for multiple days, it will retain its loft for a lot longer if you're unable to dry it out. But it will also, specifically put hydrophobic treating on it for kind of Arctic use. So when your body moisture is travelling through the down, if it's extremely cold, then it can freeze within the down. And that risks damaging the down and obviously reduces the insulation. So having this hydrophobic treatment helps with that as well. Just helps that moisture transfer travel through. It is, it's a coating. Yeah, so it literally gets washed in it as part of the process, then dried.
It's coated in nick wax.
Nick wax, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it says on it, does it?
Yeah. We can go through a lot of that when we do some product bits later as well.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, just to check stock levels. So we're pretty set on.
We are. Too many years ago, we were putting bags on this pulling table that we designed here. So Lee, our operations manager, designed this. 3 people working on one table. You'd have your specification sheet for whichever sleeping bag you were working on. Told you exactly how many grams of down went into each baffle. And then you'd have literally a hopper on some very sensitive scales, and you'd weigh the down and blow it into each baffle. So you have to be a bit of a mathematical genius to keep subtracting those grams away from the total amount of down in your hopper.
That's hard work. That is
hard work, yeah. But then they're fully QC'd after, so they're weighed, make sure they've got the correct fill in them. But yeah, quite.
So which is heavier, 100 grams of down or 100 grams of synthetic filling?
You're not going to get one. Maybe on a Monday morning you would. But yeah, so now we've got these machines which we modify basically for sleeping bags. And one person basically do the job of 3 people, probably twice as quickly. So from that point of view, it's great. It means we can do more to keep pace with demand and still have production in the UK. That's what it's all about. So all these sleeping bag specs, they're all stored into this computer now. And you literally just choose the bag that you're working on for that day, make sure you've got the right quality down in the hopper, and then you start at the bottom of the bag and you just work your way up, and the machine knows exactly how much down goes into each baffle. So
and same with the jackets as well?
Yeah, very similar. Yeah. Are these programmed into the computer as well? Yeah. So this is an expedition suit. So, or expedition jacket, I should say. Is it a jacket or a suit? Can't quite tell. Suit is a suit. Salopettes. There we go. I was wrong on both accounts.
And that keeps agitating the down as well.
Yeah, keeps agitating it. Keeps the air. Stops any condensation building up in there as dry as possible. Helps it feed through the machine as well. What's that? Sorry. You would, yeah.
Yeah. Proper Build-A-Bear setup.
Yeah. So not only do we fill all of our sleeping bags are filled in this facility, but also all of our expedition clothing as well.
Yeah.
So when we go through to the service centre, I can show you what they actually make next door as well. We just rework jacket shells, but we make the salopettes here in house and our full expedition suits as well.
So I guess that's the premium line in terms of...
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's our Halo product, I guess. Yeah. But it's also stuff, although everything we do is 100% correct, that stuff you want to make sure it's...
Yeah. That's more the lives depend on it category.
Totally, yeah.
And everything from filling to stitching to fluffing and packing is all done here in-house in Derbyshire.
So this is Service Centre. So what we haven't been great at as a brand in the past is selling all the services that we offer. Being, particularly British, we don't like to shout about it. We just do it and get on with it quietly. So what we've done is basically take all those services and productise them and make this Service Centre suite out of them. So this represents all of our after-sales services, basically. It's done in a modular way, so we can turn them on and off in different regions around the globe as and when we've got capacity to do them. So what we've got, basically got our RAB warranty, which is a shield, which is RAB promise. So we've always offered a lifetime guarantee on our products, but that's open to quite a bit of conjecture. So what we've done is basically get rid of the lifetime warranty, made it into a promise, and just promised you that if you have a manufacturing defect, we'll fix it for you.
Yeah.
And if you break your jacket, I'm looking at yours in particular, Guy.
The legendary one, yeah.
If you damage your jacket, then don't worry about it, because you still get access to all these other suite of services that we offer, and we can sort it out for you. So the next one is all about upcycling, called Second Stitch. So we do a lot of recycling and upcycling here.
Yeah.
The scissors is our repair service. The water dropping and the feathers are our downwash service. The cogs spare parts, which we try and offer as many spare parts on our website as possible for people to self-serve, take bits with them on expedition, etc., or repair at home before they can send the garment back to us for a permanent repair. And the last one's RAB rental, which we've only just done for the last 18 months, but we can chat about in a bit.
And this is the epicentre of that Second Stitch, recycling, refurbishing, kind of almost like a Matt Armstrong car repair channel and scrapyard all rolled into one. So you've got these super experienced seamstresses and clothing repairers here. I mean, some of these lasses have been working here for over 40 years. So they probably made my original neutrino jacket that I was starting, which makes photographing there on the table. But not only do they try and repair garments, they collect all the bits that they can't use in this sort of scrap bin. So you've got zips, pullers, little bits of thread, toggles, everything that they might need to recreate a garment that they don't range anymore, but bring it back to as close to as original as possible. And they've got all the machinery they need here for like pressing and testing, and it's a whole mini little manufacturing line here. And these folks are so skilled, you wouldn't even know the jacket had been repaired unless they told you. So that's the panel that's been replaced, is that correct?
Yeah, that one, yeah.
Yeah, spot on.
So this is our second stitch product, which is all about upcycling and recycling. So the top of that pile is the resellable stuff that we sell through our factory shop. And what we do is we take all those invisible repairs that you saw next door, spin it on its head, make it visible. So it basically promotes what we do.
Yeah.
So if you're out on the hill and you see somebody wearing it, hopefully you ask them where they got it from, and then they tell the story of Rabs.
Yeah, and presumably it makes everyone unique as well.
It does, yeah. Each one's unique, so you can hopefully build up this storyboard of adventures on your favourite piece of clothing. But it's also more sustainable as well, because this piece of fabric would have come from another jacket that we couldn't keep as a jacket.
Yeah. A donor has moved on.
Exactly, so it still has a second life to a degree.
That's a great concept. And this is the wrap laundry, where all the clothes are sent in for reproofing, for washing, cleaning, down jackets or waterproofs. You pay what is actually a very, very reasonable fee, considering, tumble dryers can be on for several hours, and they're checked all the way through, patted through to make sure it's done properly. They use the right products and everything. So, actually just a really, you spend all this time servicing forks and lubing your chain and stuff like that, but very few people do it with the garments as well. A lot of us would agree with that too.
So this is our lab. Over here we've got wash testing facilities, so tumble dryers, 3 washing machines where we rigorously wash test fabrics and stuff, wash test stuff 20 times, 50 times, whatever we require. We've got over here we've got hydrostatic head testers, so that tests the pressure that it takes to get a fabric to leak. So that tests your gore fabrics.
So when someone sees 10K waterproofing or something,
yes,
that's the machine that's tested on.
You test that on. So we don't take manufacturers' numbers for gospel. We bring fabrics back here, test them ourselves, make sure they're up to our standards. We have a hot plate. So on here we can do things like thermal imaging. So we can put fabrics on there, or sandwiches of insulation and stuff.
I was going to say, you've got a canteen.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We could put insulation on there, and then we can use the thermal camera to see where heat is leaching through, things like that.
Yeah.
This is a microscope, so we can look close up at fabrics, check out fabric construction, how things are made, count yarns, things like that. Over here is this tests the beading, the waterproof beading of a fabric. So you put water through here, it drips the fabric onto the DWR, drips the water onto the DWR of the fabric, and then you have a chart which you use as a reference to see how the beading lines up on the chart as to how well that DWR beads.
Yeah.
Give us a demo.
I've not got the chart to hand.
No, we can just.
Oh, give us a demo. Oh,
I'm just filling it up. It should be all.
Because this is super important at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, obviously a very hot topic, DWRs.
Yes, with the non-PFCs. And are you seeing a massive drop-off in performance between PFCs and non-PFCs?
They're definitely not as good, and that performance tends to be, it's not an initial drop off. Like they perform really well to begin with, but perhaps they need renewing more regularly than than a PFCD does.
So they're beading for a similar amount of time, but then they're coming out of the fabric quicker. Is that what you're saying? Or...
Yeah, they don't. They perhaps don't bead quite as well, but the initial performance, I'd say, is pretty close.
Yeah.
It's over time they tend to degrade a little bit faster, so they need renewing more.
Because they're designed to degrade better in the environment.
Yeah.
So.
And they're, like you say, they're water soluble.
Yeah.
And there's less nasty chemicals in there adhering to the fabric and things. So.
Yeah.
Over here we have an instrom. So this is this is for tearing. So these two halves go. This comes right down to here. You take a snip of the fabric, put half on the top and half on the bottom, and it measures how difficult the fabric is to tear. So this measures tear strength. And you can do several different tests on this. One where you split one in half, one where you cut like a tongue of fabric. Or we can do things like put a buckle in here with some webbing and test buckles, or test how long it takes for seams to break, things like that, seam slippage. So useful bit of kit. This is a light box. So this is where we test our fabrics to check the colours are correct. So when we get in, we do what's called lab dips, which is where we give a Pantone colour to a mill and we'll say we want this fabric to be in this colour. They'll send that through, and then we use the light box to compare the lab dip, the fabric, to the original Pantone, so we can make sure that the two greens match up, or the two yellows or whatever. And this can simulate outdoor lighting, shop lighting, indoor lighting. So we can check that fabric under different lightings to make sure it doesn't just match up inside a shop. It's still the same colour when you go outdoors.
Right. Yeah.
Over here we have. This measures airflow through a fabric.
Okay, so that's the permeability.
So air permeability, yep. So you clamp your fabric in here, it tries to force fabric through, and then this measures the amount of force it takes to force that air through the fabric. So an air permeability measurement. And
that looks like some kind of torture
This
device.
is resistance. This is for underperforming employees. So this is actually for rucksack fabric testing.
Okay.
So it's got sandpaper on here, and it's like an abrasion testing machine. You put your fabric in there, you get this arm up and skid it along the fabric, and it's to kind of replicate like a rucksack being dragged along rock or fabric being dragged along the floor. So it's like a heavy duty abrasion testing.
Yeah, abrasion siege engine.
Yeah. This is for testing the volume of rucksacks. So when we see to test how big a rucksack is, we fill it with these plastic balls.
Yeah. And then pour it in there.
And that measures the volume of a rucksack.
Right.
So,
and this looks like a very, very primitive mixing desk.
Yeah.
I'm expecting you to jump on there and give us a tune, mate. Is that what you're working on in Ibiza?
CDs, that thing.
So these are Martindale testing machines, and these are abrasion. This is what we do most of our abrasion testing on.
Yeah.
So you have a set weight applied to an abrasive pad, and this could be depending on the fabric you're testing. This could be fabric testing against itself, or it could be like an abrasive wall against a fabric, or it could be even sandpaper against a fabric, depending on what level you want that fabric to perform to.
Yeah.
So obviously the fabric we're using to test the base layer would be very different to the fabric
you're using for the bottom of a rucksack.
Yes, exactly. So you can apply different weights, or you can apply different abrasives to test against your fabric. And then this just cycles in random patterns, and then records the amount of cycles, so you can then set benchmarks for how well you want your fabrics to perform.
And this is actually design and manufacturing lab, where all the first samples start to get put together, laid out, pattern cutting machinery. everything you need to start the process of putting clothing together, really. And here's the main sales room. To give you an idea of all the different ranges that Rab cover. And as Matt says, there's now 700 different pieces of Rab equipment. Everything from like little thermal booties for camping, to gaiters, to gloves, to beanie hats, to like full expedition suits for the most extreme mountain and Arctic adventures. And that's the Rab Cinder bike range. Which is obviously why Mick and I have come down to see what Rab are all about. And there's the originator of the brand, Rab Carrington himself. And this is how Rab started, you know, with down, with insulated jackets, but the range has just expanded from this sort of core mountaineering range. But on the way, they've won loads of awards for all sorts of things, and they've also joined together with the low alpine brand, so that adds a sort of climbing hardware aspect to the business as well. So yeah, here's some of the very, very early low alpine sort of composite ice axes and ice hammers. And being on the edge of the Peak District obviously makes it perfect getting straight out from that prototyping lab and straight onto the trails to test the latest kit or any changes they've made to designs. Good place to do a bit of testing anyway.
Not bad. Had worse Thursdays.
Exactly.
Just realised I forgot my crud catcher, so this is bound to get messy on the lens. Oh, that lens is filthy. But then, when your lens looks like that, that's when you're testing waterproof clothing properly, isn't it?
And just to say, before we all went out for a ride, we had a separate meeting where we discussed kind of how the range came to be, what the design process is behind it, where they look to see it developing. And I'm going to post that up as a separate video, so make sure you watch that as well as this factory tour.
That was sick, cheers. What better way to end with a ride on the local trails. Thanks lads, thanks for cracking days. I think it's been a real insight. It's been really, I mean, obviously been useful talking to you about the tech, when your approach to it, but I think as much as anything else, it's been really useful kind of seeing how committed you are to cycling, and you kind of taking a steady, evolving approach, and all the tech and the fact that so much of it's in-house as well. I mean, that was a surprise to me and you, wasn't it, Mick?
Definitely was, yeah.
Yeah. And then the sustainability aspect is just something that I really think, you know, the whole mountain bike industry could learn a lot from. It seems to be a lot more forward on the agenda in outdoor.
We're an open book as well. We're not keeping that to ourselves. That's to be shared with everyone.
Yeah.
So anyone can come on board and learn. We can help educate them through it. So.
But the whole thing's been an open book. Yeah. You know, we had to and fro about product for this year, and you're like, all right, come down, learn the story, and that's, you know, better things always come from that, don't they? I hope.
Yeah, good.
And it's, you know, it's a really good sign for the future, I reckon. Don't imagine that makes it sound like you're not doing great stuff at the moment, because you are. Like I say, that's the Cinder waterproofs, like these trousers, the jacket, and a lot of the other kit, absolutely spot on.
Yeah.
You know,
just getting going.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Look forward to 2025.
Massive. Yeah. Thanks for coming down, both. It's really good.
Yeah, cheers, guys.
Yeah. Cheers. Right. Well, thanks to the guys from Rab. Thanks to Mick for keeping me company in the van, taking the still shots. Thanks to my channel sponsors who'll be listed at the end. Those really good guys supporting the channel, so please buy from them. Thanks to my Patreon supporters whose names are scrolling up now. They get exclusive early and ad-free edits, and for a small monthly contribution. And like, subscribe, click for notifications, do all that stuff, and leave a comment if you want to know more about Rab. I'm sure I can forward them to Ed.
Yeah.
And get some answers.
Definitely.
Excellent. And look out for these guys at events and in your local dealer.
See you at Hard Rock.
Yeah. Cheers, lads.
See you in a bit.